Michael Saylor of Strategy is literally playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. MSTR is up almost 3,000% since adopting its Bitcoin strategy in 2020, while everybody else is lagging. MSTR outperformed Bitcoin, S&P 500, gold, Nvidia, Tesla, and many others. In the last 12 months, MSTR outperformed everybody. Even in the last 3 months, MSTR was the winner. In this video, you're going to learn how Michael Saylor's incredible understanding of financial markets is making MSTR shareholders rich and how he's about to take this to the next level. My name is Mariusz Skonieczny and I've been investing in the stock market full-time for 16 years. I'm also the founder of microcapexplosions.com, a private membership website that focuses on small and microcap stocks. Right now, these stocks are incredibly underfollowed and mispriced. Strategy was an unknown and mostly ignored software company until it adopted its Bitcoin strategy in 2020. Today, the company owns 553,555 Bitcoins, which represents 2.64% of all the Bitcoins. And Michael Saylor is one of the most famous individuals in the investing world. Up until yesterday, Strategy had its 21 capital raising plan, under which it was going to raise 21 billion in equity and 21 billion in fixed income securities. Even though this plan was only 65% complete, the company shocked the world by doubling down and introducing its 42-42 capital plan, which includes 42 billion of equity and 42 billion of fixed income. Consequently, the company filed a prospectus to raise additional $21 billion in equity because the original $21 billion was already used. Up until this point, Strategy mostly utilized equity to raise money for its Bitcoin purchases. As shown before, under its 21-21 capital raising plan, the entire $21 billion in equity was raised, but only 6.4 billion of the 21 billion was raised through convertible debt and preferred stock. However, based on yesterday's conference call, Michael Saylor seems to want to create a lot of value for MSTR shareholders by utilizing fixed income instruments. He sees a big opportunity here. He wants to completely change the way the world views fixed income instruments backed by Bitcoin. He even asked for investors to call the credit rating agencies to start rating MSTR fixed income securities.
I think our investors should contact Moody's, S&P, and Fitch. If you own our equity, if you own our debt, if you own our preferreds, you should call these credit rating agencies or any other credit rating agency, talk to your representative, and request that they begin to cover and rate these instruments.
What's going on? Why is he doing this? Up until this point, Strategy was mostly utilizing equity to raise capital. And this makes perfect sense, especially when the market cap is $103 billion, while the value of Bitcoin holdings is only $54 billion. In other words, the market is valuing the company at 2 times its Bitcoin holdings. So of course, it makes a lot of sense to sell an overvalued stock, turn around and buy more Bitcoin with the money. This way, you create a Bitcoin yield. You create an immediate value for your shareholders, and when the price of Bitcoin goes up over the years, you create even more value. However, some people are kind of confused why MSTR stock would trade at a premium to its Bitcoin portfolio. They say, why can't people just buy Bitcoin directly? You see, you have to understand that not all MSTR shareholders are Bitcoin believers. Some buy the stock because they just want to make money. MSTR is a volatile stock because Bitcoin is volatile. But MSTR is even more volatile. And because of this, owners of the stock can make more money by writing options. Picture this: if you own any stock, you can write a call option. Someone will pay you money to have the right to purchase the stock from you at a predetermined price for a period of time. As a call writer, you hope that the option actually expires and you get to keep the premium money. When a stock is volatile, like MSTR, you can charge more money for selling the call option than when the stock is not volatile. So which stock would you willing to pay more money for? The stock that allows you to charge $10 for selling options or $5? Volatility is one of the reasons why MSTR trades at a premium to its Bitcoin holdings.
Stability is stagnation. Volatility is vitality.
If there was no volatility, MSTR price would most likely decline because only Bitcoin believers would be interested in owning the stock. And actually, the stock might even trade at a discount to its Bitcoin holdings because many Bitcoin believers would say, I would just prefer to buy Bitcoin directly instead of buying MSTR stock. Michael Saylor uses this knowledge to create value for MSTR shareholders. However, now he wants to create even more value by utilizing the other financial instruments like fixed income securities. If you like this video so far, subscribe to the channel, like the video. This helps out the channel a lot. So far, Strategy used 4 instruments to raise money: equity, convertible debt, STRK, which is a preferred stock paying 8% dividend that is convertible to common stock, and 4, STRF, which is also a preferred stock paying 10% dividend but is not convertible to common stock. These instruments generate different Bitcoin yields for MSTR shareholders. This is the illustration the Strategy used on the conference call. This assumes that the stock is trading for 2 times its Bitcoin holding. Under such a scenario, if the company uses MSTR equity, the Bitcoin yield is 0.09%. However, if the company uses convertible notes, the Bitcoin yield goes up to 0.12%. Preferred stock, STRK, the Bitcoin yield goes up to 0.15%. And preferred stock, STRF, the Bitcoin yield goes to 0.19%. However, there is a problem or inefficiency. Michael Saylor believes that their fixed income instruments are undervalued in relation to their equity. You see, the fixed income market is really big, and the 3 primary bond rating agencies such as Moody's, Standard & Poor's, and Fitch have a big impact on the pricing and where the capital flows. These agencies assign credit ratings to these instruments from AAA, which is the highest, to D. So if your company issues bonds that are AAA rated, then of course you can attract more capital at a cheap price. However, if your bonds have a junk bond status or are not traded at all, then you will have a hard time raising capital at a reasonable price. This is the problem that Strategy is facing. The company wants to utilize its fixed income securities because they can benefit MSTR shareholders, but because the credit rating agencies do not rate them, these instruments trade like junk bonds, even though they should actually be AAA or AA rated.
So all down the line, what you see is for the converts, there are massive spread premiums. The market credit spreads are actually at the level of distressed debt. A junk bond index is like 380, 400 basis points. This is double junk, triple junk. It's like the market thinks that the company's going to fail tomorrow, and it trades the credit like that. But in fact, even if you're a skeptic on Bitcoin, the BTC credit rating would be somewhere between 21 and 200 bips. There's an opportunity there if these things get rated properly. Here's the traditional credit ratings, and we're not credit rated. So I mentioned one of our interests is to get credit rating agencies to cover and to start to rate this credit. But you can see if you thought the BTC credit was 50 to 100 basis points, you could make a reasonable argument that this ought to be an AA rated instrument or some of them could be AAA rated instruments. And of course, what you can see right now is that the market treats them as less than CCC. They're just distressed debt. And so this is a massive opportunity.
In summary, Michael Saylor understands the capital markets very well. He understands how to use volatility to benefit MSTR shareholders. The company just doubled down on its capital plan to $42 billion in equity and $42 billion in fixed income securities. It is just a matter of time before Strategy will own 5% of all the Bitcoins. And if Michael Saylor can convince the credit rating agencies to rate Strategy's fixed income instruments and assign them AA or AAA credit ratings, then watch out. The value creation for MSTR shareholders is going to be epic. With that being said, thank you for watching. If you want to learn about some other stocks that I personally own, I suggest you watch this playlist. And with that being said, thank you for watching and see you next time.